The Nigerian oil producing communities have warned the international oil companies to stop sabotaging the economy of Nigeria. And also, this oil producing community in Nigeria have warned the federal government to stop diesel diesel importation to Nigeria. Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent. Now, it was over the weekend. This oil, as you know, it's not everywhere in Nigeria is oil extracted. It's in different parts of the community or the country. So now people who live in that region have their own created or established their own communities. So these are the people who came together and they have actually met Bola Tinubu. So they are sending this message that for the international oil companies to stop, economic sabotaging. This is after the exposure by Aliko Dangote and also the federal government to end fuel and diesel importation. Now, we all know as we speak, there is an ongoing end bad governance protest in Nigeria. So I have shared here with you, this is the article that has been, shared after they came up with their statement. I'm going to read some of the highlights from it for you. From what these people know, look, they have made the CE. This man is he is in charge of something in Aliko Dangote's refinery company. Now, the oil producing community, they are called, their community is called the host communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas. Hostcoms are known as. So over the weekend, they threatened to renew agitation for greater autonomy and control of their natural resources if the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the international oil companies fail to sell and supply crude oil to Dangote Refinery and other local refineries in their bid to ensure that Nigeria becomes self-sufficient in local production of premium motor, spirit, and diesel. Now, these communities also comprise all the states producing oil and gas in Nigeria, lamented that despite the billions of dollars spent on turnaround maintenance of Nigeria's refineries, the country remains reliant on importing refined products. Now, this persistent issue, it argues, highlights the widespread corruption within Nigeria's oil and gas industry, allegedly orchestrated by influential cabals who are intent on maintaining the status quo of exporting crude oil while importing refined petroleum products. Now, this hostcom of the oil producing community warned also that it will not hesitate to publicly name these identified cabals if necessary. Now, the hostcom the president of the hostcom called this Dr. Benjamin Tamaram Miebi, accompanied by his executives and traditional rulers from the Niger Delta region, toured the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals and the Dangote Fertilizer Limited Complex. Now, these notable traditional rulers included the chairman of the Niger Delta Monarchs Forum, HRM, Frank Okorakpo, deputy chairman of the transitional rulers of oil mineral producing communities of Nigeria. Now, the HRM Obafemi Ogaro and Igbisue Gabaran Narun and others as well. Now, after the tour, these people that you see here, they said that, in quotation, our visit today to the largest and magnificent 650,000 barrels per day private refinery in Africa, or Dangote Refinery, has opened our eyes to several ills, particularly to the monumental corruption going on in the Nigeria oil and gas industry. Now, this is really going to probably now agitate, as they said, the in bad governance protest in Nigeria on the streets. This thing is not going to stop anytime soon. Now, these host community leaders, the oil producing community of Nigeria, continue actually in their statement and say, look, it's in quotation, it's obvious why the existing federal government refinery in Port Harcourt, Wari, and Kaduna can never work or operate maximally despite the billions of dollars spent on the so-called turnaround maintenance over the years. It's now clear that some persons in government and outside government have been identified as the cabal holding Nigeria oil sector by the jugular. We have identified them and we shall reveal their names to the people of Nigeria if this trend continues. He said, look at what they are coming with. Now, while this host community of the oil producing community of Nigeria emphasizing on the need for Nigeria to refine its crude locally, they also urged the federal government to back the Dangote petroleum refinery and petrochemicals and other domestic refineries to end the nation's persistent reliance on imported petrol, diesel, and other refined products. Now, the group's president also called for nationwide support for Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other modular refineries to eliminate the need for imported refined products. Oh my God, my brothers and sisters, do you think this is the time for Nigeria perhaps to take the matter in their face and break away from the colonial past and possibly join the Alliance of the Sahel States, or am I just fantasizing? Anyway, let's continue with their statement. Now, they also expressed gratitude to the National Assembly and Nigerians, but warned against any sabotage that could hinder the country's progress toward self-sufficiency in refined products. I really hope they are also free from corruption or anything, that these people are really for the people of Nigeria. Now, we continue. Now, they also have said, look, in quotation open, we are grateful to the 10th National Assembly, good-spirited individuals and associations who have been rallying support for Aliko Dangote. Now, we at the host communities of oil producing community in Nigeria have come today to drum up support for Dangote Refinery. We will stand with Dangote to put an end to continuous importation of less quality and costly refined petroleum products into Nigeria. Quotation closed. That is as clear as the daylight. Nothing to add. Okay, Tinubu has to really take this seriously. Now, these communities, also these leaders that you see in the picture, they have emphasized that the Nigerian aspiration is for the countries to refine its own crude oil for the benefit of its people. And they have warned that any individual who opposes this national desire will face the wrath of the masses. The masses are already on the street. Okay. Now, the group also lampoons the chief executive of the Nigerian midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority. His name is Farouk Ahmad. This name has been a lot in the news these days. Now, over his recent statement that the government would not halt the importation of refined petroleum products. How dare he, Now, the hostcom called on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to remove Ahmed from his position, arguing that his previous associations with key players in the sector make him unfit to effectively regulate the downstream industry. Wow, these people are really bold. Now, quotation open again. They said this, look, we unequivocally call for the immediate sack of Farouk Ahmed. It's now clear that he, as the CEO of NMDPRA, is responsible for issuing import licenses to his cronies outside the government to continue to import substandard refined petroleum products into the country. This is not surprising given that he has served on the boards of some downstream companies in the past. He is therefore obviously conflicted and incapable of performing the duties of a regulator for the downstream sector. It's important to immediately replace him with an individual who is encumbered by such conflicts. Wow. Well, they have called the name. They said what they wanted. And it's a clear, direct message for Bola Tinubu, which he has to take really this seriously. Now, they also praised the president of Dangote Industry Limited, Aliko Dangote, for his patriotism in investing in and constructing the refinery in Nigeria, noting that his endeavor has significantly contributed to the country's economic growth and development. It emphasized that the refinery is crucial in providing local solutions to Nigerians' refining needs, thereby also reducing the nation's dependency on imported refined petroleum products. And I add on that one, in addition to what they said, not also he contributed to the development of the economy of Nigeria, but also he has opened eyes into these cabals and cartels of local and international looters of the Nigerian oil. In that way, he kind of, we can say, awakened the Nigerians. Also, they know it all along, but it has made a difference when this man came and exposed them. Now, this host communities of the Nigerian oil producing community said that they urged President Tinubu to support the project, highlighting that it will enhance the economy, create thousands of jobs, ensure the sustainability and affordability of products, and bring substantial benefits to the host communities, among other positive effects. Now, in quotation, they said, we called on President Bola Tinubu to support and sustain this refinery, which is in his own state. He must do away with the cabals holding the oil sector to ransom. Well, not adding anything. They also asserted this, look, the president must not tolerate the economic sabotage being carried out by the international oil companies operating in Nigeria, which have refused to sell crude oil to the Dangote refinery and other modular refineries. They condemned this as an affront to the Nigerian people and, a deliberate attempt to undermine the president's renewed hope agenda, which aims to revive the economy. But it seems that Bola Tinubu is working against his own agenda. Okay, now they continue. Wow, we call on Mr. President direct, and then as a national, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, to compel the international oil companies operating in our communities to sell and supply crude oil to Dangote Refinery and other local refiners in line with Section 109 of the petroleum industry, particularly Section 109(4)(b), which states that the supply of crude oil shall be commercially negotiated between the lessee and the crude oil refining license, having regard to the prevailing market price for similar grades of crude oil, it added. So, what they sell, these international oil companies, is a very low grade, and Dangote has exposed that. He brings a really high quality, much higher quality than what these so-called international oil companies are selling to Nigerians, and what the state itself, the federal government, under the NNPC, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, imports from Belgium and other Western countries, a complete West, and robbing Nigeria from, from the start to the end, from extracting the crude oil, sending it, selling it, and then importing it for a low quality, and misusing, abusing, looting everything of the from the Nigerians, from the poor people of Nigeria. That's really a strong statement. Kudos to these elders who came to elders, and also, the community leaders who came to show their support to Aliko Dangote, and who sent that statement to the president of Nigeria, and also to the officials who are heading or sitting as a president or CEO of those companies, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, and others who are part of this. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think of these people coming and, releasing this statement. In Africa, elders are respected. I remember when Nigeria was part of, was threatening Niger to militarily intervene, the elders from the northern part of the country, because they have border with Niger, they came and talked to Bola Tinubu, and even they went also Niger, they crossed border, and they went to talk to the new Nigerian president at that time. And it kind of helped, for Nigeria to take that action of not to intervene militarily. Otherwise, Bola Tinubu was as foolish as one can be, just obeying from France and from the US to militarily intervene in Niger. And there were countries behind him, like Senegal, Togo, Ivory Coast, Benin. And so hopefully these leaders releasing this statement will have an effect, and Bola Tinubu will make some kind of wise decision. But let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this? Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give it a like, share the video with others. You can donate to us, you can support us through our PayPal account, through the super chat. Bye bye.